The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only a page. A quote by St. Augustine, it encourages us to travel around, see the world with your own eyes. There's always something very interesting and fun, and sometimes even ridiculous things that happen when you're traveling. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I call those things cultural shock. I'm from Malaysia, and I've traveled here to Singapore to study. And if you think that just across the highway there won't be much cultural difference, you're wrong, man. The very first time I experienced cultural shock here in Singapore is the first time I ate yong tau foo here in Singapore. In Malaysia, when you order yong tau foo, the dry one, the noodle will be served with black sauce and a separate bowl of soup. But when I ordered it here, I told the uncle, kway teow noodle, dry. And I watched him perform the magic. No. I had the shock of my life. All he does is cook the noodle and serve it to me with a separate bowl of soup. Can you imagine that? So I looked around the store and I can't see any sauce that I can self-service, you see. So I say, okay, let's try. And I pour the soup in. Seriously, I can't stand it. Can you imagine the dry kway teow with no sauce, and the moisture just evaporates so quickly that kway teow becomes sticky? No one can stand it, really, unless that bowl of soup really saved me. But even though the food doesn't taste very good, it's still a good experience to me. Because otherwise I wouldn't have a topic to talk about today, right? I'll be short of one point here. Besides that, I'm not sure if you locals have noticed, but I noticed that Singaporeans are such VIPs, you see. Even me as a foreigner here in Singapore, I feel important. When I cross the road, the cars will stop for me. Without me doing anything. They will stop for me simply because of my presence. But let me tell you this, I still don't feel as important as when I'm in Malaysia. You need traffic lights to stop the car. You need signboards to stop the car. You need lines on the road to stop the car. In Malaysia, we don't. All you need is this. This hand that can stop even cars is to prove that Malaysians are the one. You may have seen this in Matrix trilogy. That's because they are inspired by us. But still, I must comment that Singapore is a great country. Because here, I can feel important and at the same time, safe. It's not a feeling you can get everywhere. Trust me on this. The next thing that happened to me shocked me a lot, and it just happened to me just a few months ago. In my 21 years of life, I have never heard of the term jaywalk. The first time I heard it, I thought it was some kind of dance move. How wrong was I, man? Jaywalk actually means crossing the road illegally. I was shocked, but at the same time, impressed. Who in the world can come up with such an awesome term to describe so wonderfully something as simple as crossing the road illegally? In Malaysia, we don't. We call it crossing the road. Malaysia is the land of freedom, you see. We don't need a green man and a red man to tell us what to do. When we want to cross the road, we cross the road. You see, traveling just across a highway gives me so much shock and experience. Imagine if you travel to different countries like US, Japan, Germany, you experience much more horrible things. Still, I would encourage you to travel around. See the world with your own eyes and experience all sorts of ridiculous things. And when you come back, you will have a stronger resistance to heart attack. Back to you, contest chair.
So now we'll observe the 1 minute of silence for the judges to make their votes. For the next speaker, we'll invite Jeremy.